Say it is the opposite of diverse. As far as race goes, ethnicity, and just mindset at the new school, it's hard to have a conversation with someone because everyone says the same thing.
What do you consider to be the definition of diversity?
I guess just a variety of personality and race and ethnicity. When I think of diversity, I kind of relate it to creativity because I feel like when there's no diversity and there's just one single group of people, there tends to be, it tends to create a stale environment and everyone just starts acting the same.
Is that how you feel about Lang? That
Yeah.
that it doesn't really foster creativity?
I think it fosters a false creativity, like a fake creativity.
Explain that.
Well, I think that people, like, for example, the way they dress, they all dress exactly the same, and it was once like this artistic way of dressing, and now it's just how they all dress. They go to Urban Outfitters and buy the same clothes that you could buy at a thrift store, but they charge $100 for.
Do you think that there's a diversity of social, economic class at Lang?
Lang? I mean, there is to some extent, but not as much as I would like to see. Class is a touchy thing here because we all just consider ourselves middle class, but we're not. I think it's more to do with, like, the American dream, actually. And, like, we're, like, middle class, and we live, like, with our families, and we're happy. So, kind of that illusion that we try to follow. Definitely, at Lang, there seems like there's more females than males. I definitely think classes would be a lot more interesting if there were diversity in all of those categories.
Elaborate a little bit more on that, because we've been talking about that a lot in our class.
Well, I just think that in a lot of my classes, I find that people, like, I'm taking really different classes, and people say the same exact things, and it's almost like they've just heard it from other people, and they just repeat it, even though it's almost not even context. And I don't know, I think if there was some diversity and, like, people were, because everyone's the same, I feel like they're encouraged to think like that. So, like, I even find myself sometimes, like, hearing that and then realizing, though, that that's not what I believe in. And I think when there's just a lack of diversity, everyone starts thinking the same. And, I mean, you're not really learning much. I think liberal is. I guess a lot of people think that liberal just means, like, progressive and, like, I don't
A
know.
lot of people also said in like the survey we distributed that we asked them if diversity was one of the reasons why they came to Lang, and a lot of them said no, but the diversity of New York City was one of the reasons why I came to Lang. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely, actually, that was one of my reasons I wanted to move here. I didn't really know much about the school, to be honest, but I really enjoy, like, riding the subway and just being around so many different people. Like, you can't do that in a lot of places. We've talked about diversity a lot, mostly race. I'm taking urban studies classes, so we talk a lot about, like, diversity in the city and injustices with things.
Are the discussions handled well by professors and students?
Mostly. I mean, but they just all say the same thing. They just say this group of people is oppressed, and that's it. So, I guess no. I think that we could expand upon that, but...
How?
Well, first of all, we already know that they're oppressed and that there's injustices. Like, maybe we could talk about what to do about that, and even as individuals, like, not even at a city-wide level, but, like, what can I do? So, I think that that would be something I would really like to discuss in class. As far as college goes, I guess it's just how I identify myself relates to how I interact with others. So, in the classroom, I feel like you can bring, like, a diversity through, like, expressing yourself through how you identify.